The Briard is an ancient breed of French working dog whose ancestry can be traced back to the earliest shepherd dogs of France. Prized for his remarkable herding abilities and loyalty to family and flock, the Briard is accurately described in 12th century manuscripts. Known as the Chien Berger de Brie in France, the breed appeared in the very first dog shows in the late 19th century in Europe. Although the breed was introduced to the United States to tend sheep in the late 1700s, the first American-bred litter from which a dog would be registered was whelped in 1922. You'll be seeing many Briards during this presentation. Some are outstanding, others are less so, but all are representative examples of the breed and will help your understanding of the Briard as you judge it. Now, let's begin. In your judging of the Briard, always remember that today's Briard is the product of centuries of tradition. Preservation of type is of utmost importance to the breed, and any breed alterations, according to whim of fashion, are to be discouraged. You must remember that a thorough, hands-on examination of the Briard is essential to determine the structure of the animal under the coat. The Briard standard has remained virtually unchanged for more than 60 years and is itself based on descriptions of the breed from very early times. Keeping the breed true to traditional type is the primary goal of the Briard Club of America. In general appearance, the Briard should be hardy, supple, muscular, and well-proportioned. He has a long, coarse coat, making him pleasing to the eye. But underneath the coat, he should be powerful without being cumbersome, and should be strong in bone and muscle. He must have the strength and endurance to withstand the rigors of the 8-month sheep herding season. As for size, males should be from 23 to 27 inches at the withers. Bitches 22 to 25.5 inches at the withers. Correct size is important for a herding dog, since large Briards may lack agility and endurance, and small ones may lack the strength sufficient to herd a large flock. Oversize in a Briard is a definite fault. Any dog or bitch under the minimum height must be disqualified. Correct body proportions are an important component of the Briard's efficiency and strength in the field. He is not cobby in build. In males, the Briard's body length, measured from the point of shoulder to point of buttocks, is equal to, or slightly more than the height at the withers. Bitches, however, may be a little longer in body. This dog appears to be too long in body. This dog appears too cobby. Here again are the correct body proportions for the Briard. Balanced body proportions are essential. Let's begin our examination of the Briard with the head, which must be in proportion to the body. It should give an impression of length and strength. Measured from occiput to tip of nose, the head is about 40% of the dog's height at the withers. There is no objection to a slightly longer head, especially if there's a longer body. From the side, the head is strong and long. Because of the Briard's coat, it is extremely important to check the actual structure with your hands. The head is described as rectilinear, that is, composed of straight lines, parallel planes, and right angles. The length of this head is correct. You can see that the stop is well marked, but never so much as to form a right angle, and is midway between the occiput and the tip of the nose. The occiput is prominent, but must be felt rather than seen. Even with the coat, you can see that the head appears to be composed of two rectangular boxes, equal in length, but differing in width and depth. This impression is valid from above, from the front, or from the side. The top line of the muzzle and nose should be parallel to a line extending from the top line of the skull. This muzzle and skull are not aligned in parallel planes. The muzzle is rectangular, somewhat wide, long, and blunt, terminating at the nose in a right angle. The muzzle must never be narrow nor pointed like this, nor too short for the length of the skull, as this one is. Both are incorrect, as is a stop that is too abrupt or one not well defined. From the front, the width of the skull is slightly less than its length, with the forehead being slightly rounded. What about this dog's head? It appears to taper downward and lacks the parallel planes of muzzle and skull. The muzzle is narrow and lacks underjaw. This head gives the desired impression of length and strength, and is sculptured in clean lines. There are no jowls or excess flesh. Remember that the Briard herds by pushing with its head and shoulders, so sufficient strength and length should be the keys to your evaluation. The nose is very large, square rather than round, and is always black. The nostrils should be large and well opened. Any nose color other than black is a disqualification. The lips are black and are of medium thickness, firm of line, and should fit neatly without folds or flews at the corners. The Briard's strong white teeth meet in a scissors bite. Missing premolars will tend to shorten and weaken the jaw. This dog also has good dark pigment of the gums. The Briard's ears may be shown either natural on the left or cropped on the right. The standard states no preference for either one. In either case, the ears are attached high on the skull with thick, firm leather at the base. Natural ears, when alert, give a squared look to the skull, like this. They should be expressive and mobile. In length, they should be equal to or slightly less than 1/2 the length of the head. Natural ears should never fall flat against the sides of the head, which creates a houndy look. Cropped ears are carried upright and parallel when the dog is alert, emphasizing the parallel lines of the head. The ears are mobile and are not up at all times. They face forward, with long hair falling over the opening. Only the tips of the ears are cropped, so that the base remains relatively wide. The ears should maintain good width as they taper to a rounded tip. These ears are set too low and make the skull appear rounded. They are not parallel. Ear cropping has no effect on the dog's working ability. This shorter crop represents a different style and is perfectly acceptable. Remember that both natural and cropped ears must be set high on the head and be expressive and mobile. Eyes are large, oval, and well opened. They're set well apart, with the inner and outer corners on the same level. Eyelids should be tight, as loose lids will catch seeds and dirt, which may cause injury. They should not be almond-shaped or slanted, nor should they be too round or protruding like these. In color, The eyes should be black or black-brown, regardless of the color of the coat. There should be very dark pigmentation of the rims of the eyelids. Lighter eye color is undesirable. Yellow eyes or spotted eyes are a disqualification. Here again is a correct Briard head, long and strong, with clean lines and parallel planes. Note the lovely expression due to proper ear and eye placement. Now let's consider the Briard's neck, top line, and body. The neck is strong and powerful and of good length and resembles a truncated cone. At attention, the neck and head are held high. The neck should be strongly muscled and of good length. It should be in balance with the dog's proportions of head and body. It blends smoothly into the withers. This neck is too short, making the dog appear out of balance. The shoulders are long and laid back at a 45-degree angle to the horizontal. This is, of course, an ideal measurement. But remember that the angulation between the shoulder blade and the upper arm, appearing to be of equal length, should be as close as possible to 90 degrees if the dog is to move correctly and work efficiently. Incorrect front angulation is undesirable in a herding dog like the Briard. This dog is too straight in front. The forelegs should be straight to the pastern when viewed from the side and should be powerfully muscled with strong bone. The pasterns are only slightly sloping to provide shock absorption for the front and good cushioning for the feet. The front feet are strong, large, and rounded, being slightly oval in shape, neither a cat nor harefoot. The toes are strong, well arched and compact, with hard black nails. The pads are also thick, well developed, and black. From the front, the legs are parallel and the same distance apart as the hind legs. The elbows are turned neither in nor out. This dog's chest is also correct. It is broad and deep and oval in form. The hand should fit comfortably between the front legs. This chest is too narrow and shallow for endurance in a herding dog. This dog is out at the elbows, making him toe in. The breastbone is prominent as seen here. It should be well padded with good muscle. Lack of forechest is undesirable, usually indicating incorrect front assembly. Good depth and width of chest and length of ribbing are essential for proper heart and lung function. Ribbing that is slab-sided is a serious fault, as it impairs endurance. The underline is only moderately drawn up, with good depth of body throughout. The top line is strong, with a slight incline downward from withers to the back. The back itself is straight, like this. The loin is broad, short, and muscular. This dog's swayed back is incorrect, as is a roached back. This correct top line slopes slightly downward from withers to the straight back to the croup. The croup is broad and well muscled and very slightly rounded. It slopes at about a 30-degree angle to the horizontal and forms a right angle with the femur. The Briard's tail should be well feathered, like this, and forms a crook, or crochet, at its extremity, forming the outline of a capital J. It is carried low and should not twist to either side. The tail bones should descend to the level of the hock and then form the crochet. This is a saber tail, one lacking a crook or crochet. This tail is too short and straight. The tail may be raised for balance when the dog moves. The tail should not be higher than the level of the back, except for the crochet. A cut tail, or lack of a tail, are disqualifications. The balance between front and rear construction of the legs is of the utmost importance, as these determine the Briard's working ability and resistance to fatigue. This dog's hindquarters are correct. The hind legs are powerful and well angulated with well-bent stifles to provide the drive for flexible, tireless movement. Rear pasterns are perpendicular to the ground, like these. This straight rear, with too steep a croup and round rump, is incorrect. This rear is over-angulated compared to the front assembly. The rear pasterns are also not perpendicular to the ground. From the rear, note the wide pelvis and well-muscled rump. See how the hind legs are parallel and the same distance apart as the forelegs. The rear legs are powerfully muscled with strong bone to provide flexible, tireless movement. The hocks should not turn in or out. This rear is weak. It lacks muscle. The leg columns cave in at the stifles. The hind feet are strong and rounded, being oval in shape, and somewhat larger than the front feet. Again, toes should be strong, well-arched, and compact, with black, thick, well-cushioned pads. These additional digits are a unique characteristic of the Briard. Ideally, these digits, generally known as dew claws, should form fully functioning toes. Unlike vestigial dew claws, these digits have substance and are separate and well developed. It is not uncommon for the rear toes to appear to turn out slightly due to the extra digits. This does not mean that the dog is cowhocked, nor is it a desirable characteristic. Ideally, the toes should point straight ahead. The dew claws are preferably connected to the bone structure of the foot, giving a wide base to the foot. The lower the placement, the better. In any case, the standard requires 2 additional digits placed low on each rear leg. These digits are incorrect, as they lack the substance of a fully functioning toe. They are empty or floating dew claws. Anything less than 2 dew claws on each rear leg is a disqualification. Now, let's discuss the Briard's coat. The outer coat is coarse and hard, and about 6 inches long at the shoulder. It will make a dry, rasping sound when rolled between the fingers. It should lie flat, falling naturally into smooth, slightly waving locks on all parts of the body. There should be a naturally healthy sheen. The undercoat is dense and fine. The undercoat may vary in length and density according to season. The head is covered with long hair, parting naturally in the middle. Although the hair lies flat, the eyebrows arch up and out in a curve over the eyes. The hair should not be so abundant as to mask the shape of the head or cover the eyes completely. Frizzy, woolly coats, like this, or soft or curly coats are faulty. Although excess hair on the feet may be trimmed, the rest of the coat is never trimmed. No credit should be given for extra length of coat. The coat will change dramatically from puppyhood to maturity in length, texture, and richness of color. The Briard's color is not as important as his conformation and intelligence, but it enhances type. Any uniform color except white is allowed. Deeper, rich shades of each color are preferred, but the ideal is a rich, uniform color all over the dog. There are two basic coat colors seen most often, tawny and black. The black color occasionally changes to a deep slate gray, like this, as the dog matures, while tawnies include a wide range of tones. This is an excellent example of a uniform, deep tawny color. You can see that the color is true down to the skin, and the same color on legs and feet. There is frequently a mask pattern of dark hair on muzzle and ears, as seen here, and on the tail. You may see immature coats with combinations of shadings. This is permissible and may blend to a more uniform color as the dog matures, like this. White hairs scattered throughout the coat are frequently seen. A white spot on the chest, no larger than 1 inch in diameter at the skin, is permitted. But a white spot on the chest larger than 1 inch in diameter at the skin is a disqualification. Also to be disqualified are white coats or spotted coats. The Briard's gait is the ultimate test of correct conformation and suitability for herding. The Briard is essentially a trotting dog, but may utilize other gaits in his work. Briard gait should be powerful, but at the same time fluid and light. It should seem like the dog is hardly touching the ground. Coming towards you, the front legs are carried straight forward, being thrown neither in nor out. Note that the Briard will tend to single track at faster speeds. Going away, the hind legs also travel straight forward with powerful drive. There is a straight column of support from hip to pad. This dog is crossing in front and sidewinding. This dog is cowhocked and is moving close in the rear. This dog's gait is quite restricted. He works very hard to go nowhere. Here again is correct movement. Supple, elastic, seemingly effortless, almost like that of a large feline. The movement has sometimes been described as quicksilver, describing his ability to make abrupt turns, springing starts, and sudden stops that are the requirements of a sheep-herding dog. The foregoing presentation is an effort to describe what is correct for the Briard. Any deviation from the ideal must be considered a fault to the extent it deviates from the standard. The more important the trait is to the fundamental purpose of the breed, the more serious the fault. Let's review the disqualifications in the Briard standard. Nose, any color other than black. Yellow eyes or spotted eyes. Tail, non-existent or cut. Less than 2 dew claws on each rear leg. White coat. Spotted coat. White spot on chest exceeding 1 inch in diameter. All dogs or bitches under the minimum size limits. Finally, a word about temperament. The Briard is first and foremost a dog of courage and character. He's renowned for his intelligence and suitability for training, and has an excellent memory. He should display spirit and initiative, and should never be overly aggressive or appear timid or shy. Because he is traditionally a guardian of flock and master, he may seem somewhat aloof toward strangers. But he is loving and loyal to those he knows. The Briard is a perfect example of a useful, hard-working animal, carefully kept unchanged for centuries.